Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce, valuation, and mediation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss divorce finances, tracing marital assets and separate property with Beth Garrett and Bob Boyd. Bob Boyd is a family law attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, and co-founder of Boyd, Collar, Nolen, Tuggle, and Roddenbery. Bob is a leader in family law who has received recognition from his colleagues across Georgia and the nation for his work in high net worth divorce litigation and contested custody cases. Beth Garrett is a lawyer and accountant in Atlanta, Georgia. She's also a partner in the Divorce Litigation Support Practice at Frazier Deeter, primarily assisting high net worth individuals and corporate executives with divorce, tax, and accounting issues. She helps people through mediation and works with divorce lawyers through all financial aspects of litigation and child support matters. She's also a valuation expert and has a credential. Welcome, Beth and Bob. How are you? I think another just issue that we don't necessarily identify marital and separate property in all states, right? So another issue, and what we're going to do is kind of lay the foundation of some of these issues, and then we're going to talk about some of the nuances in them because, again, people getting divorced don't always know that these are issues, right? And so it's really first, what are the, so another difference is that divorce is state specific. And so what are the differences between community property states, and maybe we need to define that, and equitable distribution states for divorce purposes?
Well, you want me to take that one, Beth?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. So yeah, I think it's important to say at the outset, there are only 9 states out of 50 that are true community property states. There are 3 that are a little hybrid, but all the rest are either considered what they call common law or equitable division states. Now, if you're looking for a definition of community property, basically what they do in those situations are that any assets that are acquired during the marriage are divided 50-50. It's pretty simple. And some states also have the added kicker that it also means assets you acquired during the marriage while you were domiciled in that state. Okay. Assets that you had before the marriage, or this is interesting, or that you acquired after you separated, are not considered as community property. Gifts and inheritance are not considered community property. So community property came about because these states thought it would cut down on the conflict in a divorce. Simple. Contrast that with equitable division, and we've sort of talked about that in the first question, that it's anything that you've acquired during the marriage is going to be subject to equitable division, not necessarily 50-50, but what the parties agree is fair, or a judge or a jury determines is fair. Just like community property, premarital assets are not included, gifts and inheritance not included. Now, interestingly, and this is very state specific, you remember I said that in a community property state, anything that you acquire after you separate is not subject to division. States, the equitable division states differ on that. For example, in Georgia, there's a case that defines very clearly the marital estate accrues until the date of divorce. And that can cause a lot of consternation if you've had people separated for a long time. I mean, I just served as an arbitrator in a case where, Beth, was it 7 years they'd been separated?
I think so.
4. It was a long time. They'd been separated, and the husband had acquired a lot of assets in that period of time. And he was trying to make the argument that they shouldn't even be on the table. So that definition in any state becomes important as to when the marital estate accrues.
Well, and before kind of we go more into that, the reality is every state is different. Every state deals with the date of separation, the date of filing, the date of divorce. All of those dates could have different meanings to them. And so, like we're trying to give big picture, but it's really important to understand the nuances of your state. And right now we're kind of talking about Georgia or Missouri, Illinois kind of area, but there's a whole bunch of more out there. And the reality is, just splitting everything 50-50 isn't necessarily going to solve it because everybody feels like their case is unique, right? And so there's unique situation why it should not be 50-50, including some of these assets. Do you have anything else to kind of talk about the difference between community property states and equitable distribution, Beth?
I would just highlight that in every case that the differences are in the marital estate and what that's going to look like and how that's going to be divided. But separate property is considered always. So what we're talking about today is going to be important whether you're in community property or equitable division state, figuring out what your separate estate is so that gets carved out.